Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Griha
Grihakoshānujivishu,
Koshanujivishu
Nirudhena mamattvena,
Nirudena mamatvena,
Vishayasheshu anvabadhyata,
Visheshavanvamadhyata,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Grihakoshānujivishu,
Grihakoshanujivishu,
Nirudhena mamattvena,
Nirudena mamatvena,
Vishayasheshu anvabadhyata,
Visheshavanvamadhyata,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Grihakoshānujivishu, Grihakoshānujivishu,
Grihakoshanujivishu,
Nirudhena mamattvena,
Nirudena mamatvena,
Nirudhena mamattvena,
Nirudena mamatvena,
Vishayeshu anvabadhyate,
Visheshvanvamadhyata,
Vishayeshu anvabadhyata,
Visheshvanvamadhyata,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Grihakoshānujivishu,
Grihakoshanujivishu,
Nirudhena mamattvena,
Nirudena mamatvena,
Vishayeshu anvabadhyata,
Visheshvanvamadhyata,
Tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Grihakoshānujivishu,
Grihakoshanujivishu,
Namamattvena,
Nirudena mamatvena,
Vishayeshu anvabadhyata, Teshu
Visheshvanvamadhyata,
tadriktahareshu,
Teshu tadriktahareshu,
Grihakoshānujivishu,
Grihakoshanujivishu,
Nirudhena mamattvena,
Nirudena mamatvena,
Vishayeshu anvabadhyata, Teshu tadriktahareshu, Grihakoshānujivishu, Nirudhena mamattvena, Vishayeshu anvabadhyata,
Tesu tadriktaharesu Grihakosanujivesu Niruddhena mamatvena Visayesva anubadhyata
तेषु तद्रिक्तारेषु
तेषु तद्रिक्तहारेषु
गृहकोशानुजीवसा
गृहकोशानुजीविषु
निरुद्धेन ममत्वेन
निरुद्धेन ममत्वेन
विषयेषु अनबद्धता
विषयेषु अनुबद्धता
तेषु
तद्रिक्तहारेषु गृहकोशानुजीविषु निरुद्धेन ममत्वेन विषयेषु अनुबद्धता
Teshu, to them, tadirikta hareshu, the plunderers of his money, griha, home, kosha, treasury, anujivishu, to the followers, nirudhena, deep-rooted, mamatvena, by attachment, vishayeshu, to sense objects, annabhadyata, became bound. Those sons and grandsons were virtually plunderers of the king Puranjana's riches, including his home, treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep-rooted. These sons and grandsons were virtually plunderers of King Puranjana's riches, home, treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep-rooted.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, the word Riktahareshu, meaning plunderers of wealth, is very significant. One's sons, grandsons, and other descendants are ultimately plunderers of one's accumulated wealth. There are many celebrated businessmen and industrialists who produce great wealth and are highly praised by the public, but all their money is ultimately plundered by their sons and grandsons. In India, we have actually seen one industrialist who, like King Puranjana, was very much sexually inclined and had a half-dozen wives. Each of these wives had a separate establishment that necessitated the expenditure of several thousands of rupees. When I was engaged in talking with them, I saw that he was very busy trying to secure money so that all his sons and daughters would get at least 500,000 rupees each. Such industrialists, businessmen or karmis are called mudhas in the Shastras. They work very hard, accumulate money, and are satisfied to see that this money is plundered by their sons and grandsons. Such people do not want to return their wealth to its actual owner, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The real proprietor of wealth is... Prabhuji, I'm not able to see the first line. The real proprietor of all wealth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the actual enjoyer. So-called earners of money are those who simply know tricks by which they can take away God's money under the guise of business and industry. After accumulating this money, they enjoy seeing it plundered by their sons and grandsons. This is the materialistic way of life. In materialistic life, one is engaged within the body and deluded by false egoism. Thus, one thinks, I am this body, I am a human being, I am an American, I am an Indian. This bodily conception is due to false ego. Being deluded by false ego, one identifies himself with a certain family, nation, or community. In this way, one's attachment for the material world grows deeper and deeper. Thus, it becomes very difficult for the living entity to extricate himself from his entanglement. Such people are graphically described in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 16.13 till 15 in this way. Idam adya maya labdham imam prapsye manoratham idam asti idam atime bhavishyati punardhanam asau maya hata shatruhu manishye chaparanapi ईश्वरोऽहम् अहं भोगी सिद्धोऽहं बलवान् सुखी आढ्यो आढ्यो अभिजनवानास्मि कोऽन्योऽस्ति सदृशो मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोदिष्या इति अज्ञानविमोहितः. The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him. And my other enemy will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. In this way, people engage in various laborious activities and their attachment for body, home, family, nation and community becomes more and more deep-rooted. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Teshu Tadarikta Hareshu
तद्रिक्तहारेषु
Grihe Koshanu Jivishu
विहकोशानुजीविषु
Nirudhe Namamattvena
रूढेनाममत्वेन
Sheshu Anvabhadyata.
विशेषो अन्वबध्यता.
His sons and grandsons are virtually plunderers of King Puranjana's riches, including his home treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep rooted. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sadhar
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
So today is the first topic is a allegorical story. So first is the direct reference where Puranjana has some wealth is accumulated. So Prabhupada is commenting, whatever wealth we have today, actually we have stolen it. There was Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk in Calcutta, and a businessman came to Prabhupada and he said that, Swamiji, I make the business of jelly, which you use for road, with jelly ka business karta hu. So Prabhupada said, you are a thief. So he thought Prabhupada would say, oh, so wonderful, you're making a lot of money. Prabhupada straight away told him, you are a thief. So he went back totally shocked, trying to recollect, because in this world, whatever small degrees, whatever work we do, more or less it is useless. In this world they may give some value or whatever, but actually that work is garbage. Whatever we do, whatever anybody is doing, it has no value actually. But seeing from a spiritual perspective, that's a fact, but we don't deal like that with people. I'm a manager of this company, useless. At the heart we know this all is useless work, bakwas. And we should be convinced anything which is not involved in service to the Lord is bakwas. Waste. Externally, Vyavarika level, oh, you do like that, oh, you are a manager of a company, we speak. But internally, bakwas. So imagine Srila Prabhupada talking to her. He said, you're a thief. Why? Actually, we are all thieves even though we are doing various engagement. Because whatever resources we have, they actually belong to Krishna. And I put in our pocket, we say, I'm a businessman, I'm this and that. Whatever resource we have, it belongs to Krishna. So when we have anything from Krishna, we are thieves actually. Therefore, the shloka, the direct meaning, the first thing, we are itself thieves. Chori kamala sab. So in your pocket, if you have some money, you know you are a thief. Because this actually belongs to Krishna. Lakshmi belongs to Krishna. Just like Ravana. We are holding Lakshmi like Ravana. Ravana, what he was doing? He took the Lakshmi, personified itself to Lanka. We cannot do that, but we do it in a small way. But all of us are small Ravanas only, holding the Lord's property in our pocket. So in your pocket, in the pocket can you extend it to the bank account? Whatever you see, I'm just speaking the fact, don't take it personally. But the reality is whatever is in your bank account, whatever is in your pocket, whatever wealth in your home, whatever you have there, actually we are looters, plunderers, thieves, rogues. Prabhupada used to use this word. Sometimes in lectures we say Prabhupada says all rogues, thieves, plunderers, looters. It's a fact. It's a fact. We have stolen Lord's property and keeping in our pocket. And then thieves means other thieves also come, the family members. Now this money, whichever way you had in your pocket, you could have used it to serve Krishna, but then the family members loot it, plunder from you now. They plunder from you. I want a new sari, we are going for a marriage, I don't have cloth only. No, I don't have jewelry. Look at that house. She came to that function with so much jewelry. I want also that diamond ring. The son wants something. And nowadays if I see my classmates, when I last met them, practically every one of them, the child is studying in America. Every one of them. Not post-graduation. We were, at our time, people used to go from India to America and post-graduation, after the graduation. But those people who accomplished little in the life, they sent the children for graduation itself to America. And a graduation in America will cost you 2-3 crores easily. Every year, minimum 50 lakhs. And maybe if there is in a big university like Harvard, you will spend 4-5 crores just for graduation. And then next is post-graduation. So aren't these plunderers? In India, if it is not the study in America, if your child says, Papa, I want to become a doctor, be ready. You have to spend again crores. You have to study. And they don't get good marks, then you have to get them admitted by money only. Because the colleges have some slot for management seats that are meant, or NRI seats. Whatever way, you have to pay a lot of money to get that. So aren't they plunderers? This money you could have used in so many crores of rupees, one temple can you build. In your own house, in your own town you could have built a temple, correct? At least purchase one nice piece of land and started the construction of a temple. You could have used this money to glorify Krishna. By this money, you could have distributed so much prasadam. So much things you can do actually. But the family members plunder it. They have a competition. You have to make a new house. ये मेरा घर नहीं है, सबको घर बनाने का. And nowadays the real estate is so bad that making a house means whole life earning is gone. We are the passengers in this world. We are coming and we are going. No, we have to have our own house. And when the land is taken, it should be a little big. The house is, I remember somebody, he took a 3-bedroom flat with great expense. Somebody built a big house with a great expense. So the children all of us will stay together in the house. The children go away today. They don't want to stay. Even they're in the same city, they don't want to stay with the parents. The livelihood is such, they are not compatible. So this is the reality. So isn't this plundering or what else it is? You know? The person could have done so much service to the Lord with that money. Even a little doubt they get. I remember there was in Mangaluru, we had somebody at a good, beautiful house. And then what happened, that somebody wanted to stay in that house. But the family members of the person became very worried. Maybe the temple will take over that house, something. No way, no way, no way. Even in the train, they go for Gita distribution. वो आदमी को किताब देंगे, फिर वो बीवी को देखता है. ये बोलती है नहीं, वापस कर देता है. वो पंगा नहीं लेना, घर में जाके तमाशा होगा 100 रुपए के लिए. वापस नहीं, शांति से रहना. So the family members will not allow anybody to actually use his wealth, which is not wealth, he has plundered from Krishna. He wants to return to the rightful owner. Correct? And the highest way of charity is to actually understand this money never belonged to me. The money belonged to Krishna, I just gave it back to him. But somebody wants to do that, family members will not allow him to do that. So they are therefore referred to as, in this verse, as plunderers, rogues, thieves. क्या नहीं बोल सकते, है ना? क्या और शब्द बोल सकते हैं? Dacoit, चोर, उचक्के. सब लोग शांत बैठे. बदमाश. और लुटेरे. डाकू. बोलो घर में सब. सुनाओ जरा घर वाले, थप्पड़ पड़ेंगे आपको. बैठो, तुम लोग सब चोर हो, डाकू हो. ताड़ मारेंगे तुमको. है कोई सच सुनना नहीं चाहता. एक्चुअली सच बहुत कड़वा होता है. And the standard of Bhagavatam is it will reveal what Bhagavatam will do. It will reveal the real face of सबको बेनकाब कर देता है. ये चोर है, ये डाकू है, ये 420 है, लुटेरा है. So actually it is true. Isn't it true? Okay? So then how do we come out of this? What is the solution? What is the solution? How do we come out? See, money will spend. Suppose you earn some money. Nowadays people don't earn. हमारे time जैसे, I used to get salary 4,000. Nowadays people earn in lakhs only. Nobody earns in thousands. True? Monthly earning. So what do you do to see that then money is not looted by the family members? Because there is no limit. There is no limit to the desires of an individual. We try to satisfy. Instead of thinking, how do I satisfy Krishna? Instead of thinking, how do I use his money to glorify Krishna? More and more, the family members have some other interest. Correct? एक और set चाहिए कपड़ों का. नहीं, एक और. Therefore, the Vedic culture is simple living, I think. We should develop that mentality. We understand that money belongs to Krishna. We should avoid all luxuries. Okay? And live a Brahminical simple life. Simple Brahminical life. And use that money, whatever we have. When we get money, we should first understand this money belongs to Krishna. Keep it aside. Doesn't belong to me. From that, I can take little from my maintenance. Just like in a temple, what happens? Something similar happens in the temple, no? We understand everything belongs to Krishna. But suppose you go to a temple and offer some fruits to the Lord. Okay? You got a crop, you got 100 mangoes or whatever, and you gave it to the temple. And they say, did you taste? No, it's for the Lord. What the pujari will do, a small basket will say, you can also have it at home. That's all I'm saying. So similarly, whatever I get money, it belongs to Krishna, and from little I can take from that, from my maintenance. So it should be visible in my life. No luxury, never have your luxury. Utilities. What do you say? In the name of Yukta Vairagya. Because our philosophy is not that you live, no, don't have anything to it. In the name of Yukta Vairagya, there should be no luxuries. Simple utilities we should have. Remaining things, we use it for Krishna's glorification. Okay? This we can do. Another way is that follow the formula, the Kolovechara Sridhara, that is very, very advanced. That is not easy. That is not easy. That is very, very advanced. Just like even temple, Srila Prabhupada said, whatever money a temple should get, 50% we should keep aside for printing. And nowadays there are other medias also. Use it for basically 50% use for propagation of Krishna consciousness and 50% use it for construction. Then how do you maintain yourself? Maintenance you can do by monthly subscription. Like the visitors to the temple, they give a small donation in the hundi. You meet a lot of people, but that you should maintain, not from this point. But true, the temple is very big, so therefore we have created something like Sudama Seva, small monthly subscription that should maintain the temple. But anybody gives a donation, 50% goes for construction, continue, 50% goes for preaching. So which is not easy. I don't think there is any temple which is following this. This is Prabhupada's order many times. At least 40-50 times Prabhupada has written this in his lectures, purports. In fact, there is a famous purport. Can anybody look at that? As soon as money accumulates in our Krishna consciousness movement. Can anybody locate this line? You can't locate. As soon as money accumulates in our Krishna conscious movement, 50% of it should be given for printing of books. Can anybody locate? It's a very, very famous verse. Huh?
Prabhuji, I'm not able to send the link.
13 point?
7.13.13.
क्यों भी? ठीक है, I'll show you this. Okay, everybody is seeing this. Okay, Mataji, a sannyasi. Can you read the word a sannyasi? From that you continue.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. A sannyasi should have an institution meant to preach Krishna consciousness. He did not accumulate money for himself. We recommend that as soon as money accumulates in our conscious movement, 50% of it should be invested in printing books and 50% for expenditures, and especially in establishing centers all over the world. The managers of Krishna conscious movement should be extremely cautious in regard to this point. Otherwise, money will be the cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, material attachment, material poverty, and unnecessary hard work. When I was alone in Vrindavana, I never attempted to construct mattas or temples. Rather, I was fully satisfied with the small amount of money I could gather by selling back to Godhead, and thus I would provide for myself and also print the literature. When I went to foreign countries, I lived according to the same principle. But when Europeans and Americans began to give money profusely, I started temples and deity worship. The same principle should be followed. Whatever money is collected should be spent for Krishna and not a farthing for sense gratification. This is the Bhagavata principle.
So now this is very clear to us. The principle at the last line. Whatever money is collected should be spent for Krishna, not a farthing for sense gratification. So everybody should follow this principle. But true, to the degree we have the people in the family Krishna conscious, we can follow this. Okay? To the degree. If the family is not Krishna conscious, that many of the devotees, then it will be difficult. But to the degree we have the privilege, yes, to the degree we have the authority control, to that degree we should try to follow this. Okay, this is general principle. But then there is a detail now. The detail is given as, for a temple. I am talking for a temple. As Prabhupada says, we recommend. We recommend means He the founder Acharya, Senapati or Sri Chaitanya, that is his order, not really recommend, that's an order. Okay, what is an order? As soon as money accumulates, as soon as we get some money, okay, 50% of it should be invested in printing. In fact, this is such that it is there in ISKCON account books also. When you do ISKCON accounting, it is there. Because that's a proper system. It is there even in an accounting in ISKCON. But then people show loss because they couldn't do it. Okay? 50% invested for printing books. Because see, they try to understand the principle. We had the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada making the Gaudiya Math, and we know it broke into pieces. And one of the main cause of this was the headquarters. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada built Bagh Bazaar. It was fully made of marble. And when the temple was built, the devotees started fighting for room. I'll sit in that room, I want that room, I want that room, and everything vanished. So Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada at that time, which I calculated the effect called a Bagh Bazaar effect. In fact, he told Srila Prabhupada that we should be careful. If you get money, print books. He told that. Okay? That was a very important instruction given to Prabhupada that Radha told. If you get money, first thing he said, Agni hoive. My movement is, I can see my movement is gone. He could forecast because he can see the nature of his own devotees. And at the same, Prabhupada was very upset. Guru Maharaj, don't say like that. He said, no. Now they are fighting for rooms. I can see when I go, they will fight for matha. That exactly the same thing happened. Everything will be destroyed. And then he said very nicely, he said, if you get money, then Prabhupada, they told him, this is gone. What I did is gone. But for you, I'm telling you, he was very dear to his spiritual master. If you get money, you print books. And actually, Prabhupada says that, he said, now you see the letters, okay? 50% for established. So there are two things, Prabhupada, if you can just, I don't know how many of you have Veda base with you, where search engine is there. Just put 50%, you will get 100 quotations. Is there in letters? Is there lecture? There's in that purport there's a place. Because purport means for all the places, for all the time. If it was there in letter, we can say it was meant for a particular person. But this is for all the people for 10,000 years. So Prabhupada says that use the printing media to propagate Krishna consciousness. Okay. Now see, Prabhupada says to all, the managers of Krishna consciousness movement should be extremely cautious in regard to this point. Who? The managers. Otherwise, one will be the cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, material attachment, material poverty, and what is the money will cause of? Lamentation, because unnecessarily politics will happen. Correct? Kali Purusha कहाँ बैठता है? 5 बजे के सोने में, ठीक है? So when basically signifying wealth, है ना? Wealth. So उससे भी आदमी को घमंड आता है and पागल हो जाता है. So what will lead to? Lamentation, illusion, fear. Can you imagine the problems? Anger. You can write full chapter on this line. Actually, these problems have been studied, happening. Material attachment, material poverty also, and unnecessary hard work. Do that. That will be the result if you do not preach. Because what happens, Kali Yuga means these things will come. Kali Purusha will bring all these things. But by Sankirtana you can keep it away. Now some people, when they're scared of wealth, what they will do, they'll go to forest and live in a life of poverty. So, generally, many people. But we have been asked by Srila Prabhupada to come to the cities and preach. When you're trying to do that, definitely you need wealth. How can you preach without facilities? But then, these facilities should be used for preaching only. Otherwise, material wealth has a negative effect on us. Correct? It can bite us. Correct? समझ आए? Just like आपका अकाउंट में 1 करोड़ रुपए डाल दो. अगर आप like Sudama हैं, Sudama was a great devotee, no effect on him. Any effect on him? He was still same devotee. But for us it is not true. हम पागल हो जाएंगे. ये क्या क्या होगा, ये सब काम हो जाएगा. Lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, same thing. The wealth has an effect of damaging us. What is the effect of wealth? To damage us. So that can be taken away by offering it to Krishna's pleasure. So that I am meditating as a manager. As grahasthas, you will have the same damage. Okay, na? So you have to, for you, Lagao Jara quote, proper talks about for grahasthas also 50%. But the problem is situation is not in your control. If you are in total control of your wealth, that's a separate issue. You are not. घर में ही लोग भगा देंगे बाहर if you tell the 50% of a grahastha. That is your problem. I am meditating on my problem. So for me this is a challenge to accomplish. I read this to many Srila Prabhupada disciples. They said nobody has been able to follow this to this day. But they know it's order of Srila Prabhupada. Everybody knows this. So we followed one of the orders of Srila Prabhupada that every visitor gets prasada. And maybe because of that we spend every month few lakhs extra, correct? We are doing that. Okay, but we are only satisfaction is that it defies sometimes logic also. Why we are doing this? What is the use? What benefit do we get? Many people who come as in our congregations, Prabhuji, chodo yes. No, it's a proper order, we have to implement it. We blindly follow the spiritual master, we don't know what's the result. Similarly here is another order, which should be of a healthy temple as it grows up. Okay? Then Prabhupada says, when I was alone in Vrindavan, I never attempted to construct mathas or temples. This is revolutionary. I pointed this out 100 times. If you get some money, suppose आप एक भक्त है, ठीक है, आपको 5 करोड़ दिया, आप पहले जमीन खरीद के मंदिर बना दो, है ना? वही करेंगे ना सब लोग, करेक्ट? आप मैनेजर हैं, क्या है? ये मैनेजर ऑफ ISKCON, आपको कोई somebody gives you दक्षिणा of 50 करोड़, immediately आप जमीन खरीद के 50 करोड़ का सुंदर मंदिर बना दो. But Prabhupada says, when I was alone in Vrindavan, I never attempted. You see, the printing a book is a very expensive affair. आपको मालूम नहीं है. Say a Bhagavad Gita itself. Today it is costing something like 200 rupees to print one book. आपको minimum 10,000 copies print करना पड़ता है. नहीं तो cost is very high. So 20,000 into 10,000 or 200, how much? 20 lakh rupees. It's a huge amount of money. ऐसे एक नहीं, Prabhupada wanted to print so many books of his, है ना? 3 sets, 3 volumes he wrote Bhagavatam. That's 60 lakhs. That's enough to start negotiating for a land, at least a small piece. Prabhupada said, I did not do that. Why? He followed the principle. Rather, I was fully set a smaller money I had gathered by selling Back to Godhead magazine. Prabhupada was printing books like Back to Godhead and selling it, and who will buy it? Nobody is interested. It defies all logic. है ना? क्या कर रहे हो भाई तुम? पागल हो गए क्या? Okay. I rather set a smaller money I gathered by selling, that I provide for myself and also print the literature. And we know that even this thing was so difficult that Prabhupada practically was penniless. And he was walking for miles to save some money. He had no money. But he did not budge from the principle. When I went to foreign country, I lived according to the same principle. When Prabhupada landed in America, what Prabhupada was doing? He was distributing the books he had with the Bhagavatam sets. And by that he was surviving day by day. Okay. Then what happened? When the European American began to give money profusely, so why did Prabhupada at all build the temples? No. The money came profusely. Because money started coming in millions of dollars. Devotees are distributing to the extent of thousands and lakhs, even million. Once they printed 1.5 million Bhagavad Gita, it came in a train. A train bhar ke aayi thi. Can you just imagine? Can you imagine? We go to Surat Kal and a train has come of Bhagavad Gita. Kya hai ye? Ek train aayi hai. Bhagavad Gita. Aisa haal the book distribution ka America mein. And the Back to Godhead magazine was 2 million copies of printed once in a month. 2 million. Today we don't even print a lakh. 2 million. And they were only few thousand followers. Today ISKCON has millions of followers. But we cannot match because the different principle it was being followed. So when I was foreign, same principle I lived. So these books were, when they are distributed in America, say Bhagavad Gita will cost say $2 to print. And what is the cost of selling? the selling in America is at least $20. So 10 times you make a profit. In India, this principle doesn't work. Huh? You don't get that kind of money. Okay. But when the European America began to give money profusely, in India, Srila Prabhupada started Life Mission and other donation schemes. Otherwise, the book selling will not have that margin. So money started coming profusely. Imagine you sell 1 million Bhagavad Gitas and you had a profit of 20 million on each Gita. So $20 million you have. At that time, it was a significant money, massive money. So Prabhupada opened temples all around the world. Most of it was from BBT monies. In fact, many times Prabhupada used to go to different part of the world. Prabhupada, we can buy this place, we can build a beautiful temple. So Prabhupada used to ask a question, simple question. BBT, do you have some money? Yes, Prabhupada, we have money. And BBT used to help purchase ISKCON properties. Even temples were rich because of selling books. Even in Prabhupada, when he came to India, many temples asked for money. Prabhupada used to not give money. Prabhupada used to give books. Sell the books. In fact, Srila Prabhupada was about to depart from the world. At that time, an Indian gentleman came, some well-wishers. Swamiji, don't keep some money. They will be telling as a friend, fight to lakar among disciples of money. No, I will not keep money. I am printing, all the money I will convert into books. Now you see, suppose, आपका room में I keep 1,000 Gitas, what you will do? बेचना आसान नहीं है, बहुत मुश्किल है, कोई नहीं खरीदता. And you have to preach, है ना, to sell a book. In fact, the more and more social media is becoming strong, more and more people are getting used to the mobiles and nothing. Selling books is becoming more and more difficult, है ना? We have practiced it. That last कोई खरीदना ही नहीं चाहता. It becomes very difficult. How much energy we have to put to make a person buy a small book. Okay, so it is. I started the temple and deity worship when so much money came. I started, and that's also needed for Pancharatra worship along with Bhagavad Vidhi, that is needed for the upkeep of the disciples. The same principle should still be followed. It's not saying I did, but now you can do something else. Same principle should still be followed. Whatever money is collected should be spent for Krishna, not a far thing. This is an overall principle. Okay? So similarly in Grihastha life also, you study, there is 50-50 for Grihasthas also. Sit and study that. I have to not bother for that, that's you have to bother. Why I should bother? That's your problem. My problem is to somehow implement this, which is not easy. Correct? Somehow implement this. And then what happens is that, devotees, you cannot sleep. Now if the money is bank mein rupaiya, if the money is there in the bank, क्या करेंगे सब लोग? सुबह का प्रोग्राम हुआ, प्रसाद खाए अच्छे से, जाके सो गए. Correct? But then, if there is no money, then we have to sell these books to get something to eat. यार खाना यार 2 गीता बेच के आ जाए. Because आपका प्रिंसिपल है, जो भी पैसा आता है उसे किताब प्रिंट कर दो. आपका क्या होंगे, जितने रूम भरे ना चारों तरफ, सब में गीता भरी रहेगी, भरा रहेगा. And then क्या होगा, चलो यार किताब बेचते हैं. आपको कोई तरीका नहीं है ना, and you can survive only on that business, है ना. Then there is Kevala Ananda, so much bliss. Preaching is so much bliss. Sometimes you think, I take 10 Gitas and go on this road, who will buy? Just go. Customers are ready because of blessing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithviyacha Jagannathi Gram Sarata Prachare Mora Nam. That prediction is there, no? Because of that prediction, very, very good customer is ready. And once I remember in Mangaluru, we went to some house, and then what happened, that man purchased the whole set of books. He said, आप क्या है? He said, मैं मुसलमान हूँ, लेकिन पता नहीं मेरे पिताजी क्यों कन्वर्ट हो गए थे, मेरे को पसंद नहीं, सारी किताबें ले ली, उसने घर में बैठ के पढ़ता था. So these all things happen, you get miracles, ऐसे miracles होते हैं, but बैठे रहोगे, सो रहोगे, नहीं होते. तो बाहर जाओगे तो होते, है ना. And you get so many good contacts, है ना. कितने अच्छे लोग मिलते हैं उसकी वजह से, प्रचार होता है, अपने को भी खुशी होती है. And then, because of Sankirtana, the Kali Purusha cannot act. Kalipur, if the money is just lying without being engaged in Krishna's service, then be ready for lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, material attachment. See, running a temple is also like running a family. There is no difference. ठीक है ना. तो हमारा प्रिंसिपल ये है, अभी घर में आपका भी प्रिंसिपल है, आप स्टडी करो कैसे करना है, how to, for my anxiety to come to the standard, and I am thinking, one letter I followed, every visitor should get prasadam. Now second one, I am meditating. Similarly, you also meditate. Just like I have some difficulties, similarly, you also have some difficulty. And But more we come and align ourselves with the orders of the Acharya, everything will be fine. Okay, so this is fine as far as the topic of money and this thing. Now the second point which is coming, proper talks in the purport, actually you try to understand, this story is a symbolic story. So what is the meaning of the relatives and friend plundering? That is our senses plundering, which is easy to understand. अभी आपका सुबह 9 बज गया, 9 बजे से आपको रात के 9 बजे सोएंगे, ठीक है? कितना घंटा है? 12 घंटा है. In 12 hours, not a second should be used for sense gratification. But because our mind is not controlled, we don't use our time for serving Krishna. Uncontrolled senses represent these plunderers, the family relatives, they actually represent our desires. You know, hundreds of children, thousands of grandchildren that is being talked here refer to a mind. And thousands of these things actually are not allowing me to think about Krishna, including during japa. It is true or not? It's very difficult. I have half an hour, I can think about Krishna, but the mind has become so weak. So gradually you have to struggle to drag your mind to lotus feet of Krishna. Struggle. With that, gradually sanity will come, and we will come to the platform that we can avyartha kalatra. Not a moment is wasted. It's all a story. Not a moment is wasted. We have to come to Sattva-guna for that. Many a time we give the time management, all the examples. Rajaguna, Tamoguna, no use to talk. In fact, most of us are in Tamoguna, very difficult. Okay, to come to Sattva-guna, where you have decided, I will engage my day in Krishna's service, then we watch. Okay? एक तो दिन निकल जाएंगे, महीने निकल जाएंगे, साल निकल जाएंगे, no spiritual progress because I am not using my time in Krishna's service. Okay? One level is that we do some sadhana and then you are better. Okay? Second level is that what about the day? Particularly just like Saturday, Sunday. Yes, sir. Many of you, other days you are very busy. You do your sadhana, go to office, come back home, somehow finish your japa, maybe read little and take rest. But your real spiritual advancement will see what you do on the holy day. And does it become holy day or unholy day? क्या करते हो उस दिन? Then we can actually see how much spiritually advanced we are. If you are spiritually advanced, that day will be for reading 2-3 hours, for chanting extra rounds, to taking association of devotees, because all of us are struggling. So we take benefit of that time. Are we taking benefit of the extra day that we get a week? How do we spend it? That shows our spiritual advancement. But because of mind is not controlled, because the senses are not controlled, they are referred to as millions of desires which plunder our whole time. Our whole time gets plundered by this unwanted desires. Okay, Hare Krishna. And what is the solution of the example? Ambarish Maharaj. Savai Manah Krishna. Anybody can sing the shloka? Are? Savai Manah. Anybody know the shloka? Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo. Are? Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayo. Jitendra Gopeshwaraji, you want to sing?
Kave manah Krishna padara vindayo Tansi vilko nano varna Karo harer mandir marjana Stu shrutim parati Mukundalingalaya darsani Kisho Vitthidartha sparsam sangamam Kranam chatat padam saroj sorate Srinatulakya
Yeah, Chitra Krishna Mataji, you also want to try?
Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayor Vacham Sivai Kunta Gunanu Varnane Karau Harir Mandirmarjana Disho Shrutim Chakara Achyuta Satkatho Daye Mukundalinga Layadarshane Drisho Tadbritya Gatra स्पर्शने अङ्गसङ्गमम् ग्रानं च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्या रसनां तद् अर्पिते पादौ गरे क्षेत्र पादासर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेश पदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्ये न तु कामकामया यतो उत्तमश्लोक जनाश्रयरति हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जन्म
This is ideal. So try to come to this standard. Try to come. That's our life. Okay? Try. People are all running for sense enjoyment. Nobody is happy. People are frustrated. Instead of that, why not I become alive in Krishna consciousness and become ecstatic? But I have to follow this Ambarish Maharaj's example. Everything will automatically. Try to engage your time nicely. Try to put your mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Rest will automatically. Okay, Hare Krishna everybody. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Koti pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna Krishna
Dandavat
Krishna
pranam
Hare
Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Hare
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 Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
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 Hare